The original L-1A extension was filed, RFE'd, and then denied. We refiled it and it got approved without an RFE. This was a crazy case because it was so difficult from the very start. There were only 5 employees with a low salary and it's an import-export business. How are you an executive with a previous denial? How do we get it approved without an RFE? Let's get to it. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Zahn Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So the legal problem in this case was the case was already denied and it's a weak case. This was one of those cases that was filed by our partnering firm. So after they filed the original case, when they got this brutal request for evidence, they came to seek our help. We reviewed it. We gave a lot of suggestions. Ultimately, when they prepared it, filed it, it was still denied and it was a nasty, nasty denial notice. I have it right here. Whew. 7 pages. You minus the first 2 pages, which is kind of introductory language, it's still 5 pages of in-depth challenge to this particular case. They challenged the managerial rule, they challenged the job description, they challenged the subordinate duties job description, they challenged the functional managers, they challenged every single document that was provided. You can tell the officer spent a good 25 to 30 minutes just typing all of this out. And what makes this case a lot worse was we had to refile immediately. So we didn't have the luxury of time to collect more documents, to beef up the payroll, to do all these other things, to repackage the case and refile. We had to work with what we had. The 5 employees, the 0 profits, the import-export business. We had to work with everything, but we had to just come up with a new filing. What did we do to win this case? The bad news is there's no magic formula. I wish there was, because then we could use this for all our other cases. We just had to rewrite the whole thing with much better and more powerful detailed language. And the difficult thing is you can't make too many changes. If originally you said the job duty was 70% this, you can't suddenly back down and say this is 35% and 35%. You can't do a lot of the big formatting changes. The sections should stay the same, but the details, every single thing, we rewrote. Now with 5 employees and a low salary and low profits, it's really hard to argue that this person is an executive and a managerial position. We already provided a lot of documentation about how COVID impacted the industry as a whole and the company, but those are just excuses. The one secret ingredient that was provided previously, but now we highlight to make the star of this case, was the resume. The client has been in this industry for 20 plus years, was a leading executive back in his home country, and we focused in on the enormous amount of talent that this individual has, almost like an EB-1A 01 type case, talking about how important he is back in his home country, now being sent over to the US, given all the things that happened in COVID and how so many industries were heavily infected, and now specifically between Russia and Ukraine and all the energy crisis, that this company is still surviving, and it takes a leading executive of his stature in order to power through and make this company survive. We provided the bankruptcy figures so the officer can see, not just in the US, but around the world, how difficult of a time it is and how they are still surviving, and that they are not taking the government subsidies, and they were able to power through based on his skill and his ability. Part of the denial and the request for evidence previously was just challenging. What are you doing? I don't believe your job descriptions, or you only have few employees, and the things that your company is doing is just so small. Well, no, just surviving is hard enough. Just surviving is hard enough. To survive a war, a global pandemic, it takes the best executives to navigate this entire process. Yes, the job description is necessarily vague for that reason, because there's too many things that he was doing. And look at all the things that he did do. So doing this, we didn't have to change the job description, but we were able to provide a lot of examples on how this company was able to pivot and survive this crazy, crazy world that we live in today. The case wasn't challenged. There's no request for evidence. It was immediately approved. Now the family can finally stay in the US, not have to worry. They were in such a bad mood ever since they got a request for evidence, and they were so disheartened once they got the denial. But within just a few short months, everything was able to turn around. If you have any questions about L1s, I know these are so complicated and it seems so murky, but it really takes good strategy, writing, and brainstorming. And so if you have any questions about your case, or if you are an agent and you are a law firm that's working on your client's cases, would love to talk to you and brainstorm through it, feel free to give us a call. Take care. Bye-bye.